Hello everyone, my name is Shambhavi. Hope you all are doing well. So now what we are going to we're going to learn about how to calculate out the F ratio for the two estimates of the variances are made. So I'll be writing out and we'll be going to calculate the F ratio today. That's how we can do that out. Okay. So let me write that. So here it goes to calculate. One second. Let me write that correct only. So to calculate the F ratio, to calculate out the F ratio, two estimates of the variance are made. Two estimates of the variance are made. Okay. So to calculate the F ratio, two estimates of the variances are made. Fine. Now, basically first one what we have, and before that let me choose out a new color here for writing out, and fine here, and the number one goes here like that: variance between the samples. Okay, so number one is variance between samples. Okay, the very first one which we have out here. Now we'll be discussing about some things between the variance between the samples. Okay, so yeah, here I go that an estimate of sigma square, that is the an estimate of sigma square, that is the basically variance, that is the variance of the sample, means multiplied by n, multiplied by n. Okay, so the variance between samples means that an estimate of sigma square, that is the variance of the sample means multiplied by n, right? Basically next one second, let me get out some space for writing out here. Fine. Next we have that if the samples are different sizes, if the samples are different sizes, okay, basically if the samples are different sizes, then the variance between samples is weighted to account for the different sample sizes, for the different sample size. Let me just go ahead above a little bit and revise that particular variance between samples. So it is an estimate of sigma square, that is the variance of the sample means multiplied by n. Okay. Now, if the sample are different sizes, then the variance between samples is weighted to account for the different sample size. Right, so I hope I am very much clear with this particular thing. Then in that case, we have one more thing to mention out here, that the variance is also, one second, let me get out some space. The variance is also called variation due to treatment or explained variation. So the variance is also called variation due to treatment or the explained variation, right? So yes, this was about the variance between the samples. Now Next we are having the second one, that's the variance within the samples. Variance within samples. Now let me just come down here. Okay, fine. Variance within samples. So it is an estimate of sigma square, that is the an estimate of sigma square, that is the average, that is the average of the sample, that is the average of the sample variances, that is the average of the sample variances. Now when the sample size, one second, right, so when the sample size, okay, so here we are having that when the sample sizes are different, are so when the sample sizes are different, so in that particular case the variance within samples, the variance within samples are weighted. Okay, then in that case the variance is also called as, I will just write simply like variance is, let me get out some space, and in that case variance is also called as variation due to error or unexpected variation or unexpected variation. So in the variation within the samples, what happens that an estimate of sigma square, that is the average of the sample variances when the sample sizes are different and the variances within the samples are weighted. So variance is also called as variation due to error or unexpected variation. Okay, so this is where this variance within samples actually meant. So these were the two estimates how you could found out the F ratio. Okay, variance between samples, and second one is variance within samples, right? So hope I am very much clear with both of these things in regarding about to how to calculate out the F ratio. Two estimates of the variances are made, right? So in this particular case above we had seen about the one, that is the variance between samples, so that was estimate of sigma square, that is the variance of the sample means multiplied by n, right? And when I move towards the variance, one second, variance within samples, so it is an estimate of sigma square, that is the average of the sample variances, right? So hope I am very much clear with both of these things. Now we'll meet you in the next video with some more new topics. So this is all for this video. Till then, thank you and take care.